Babes, I am literally, like, out of breath. The timeline is in absolute, complete shambles
Yeah,
today.
it is a structural collapse. I mean, the entire internet is just on fire.
I woke up, right, and I reached for my phone with, like, one eye barely open.
A dangerous game on a Wednesday.
So dangerous. And I honestly felt this physical, visceral wave of panic mixed with just pure, unadulterated joy wash over my entire body.
Well, yeah, because it is just mess after catastrophic mess today.
Exactly. And I am living for the chaos, but I am also genuinely struggling to catch my breath.
I actually had to, like, put my blue light glasses on and sit straight up in bed.
Oh my God, not the blue light glasses.
I needed them. I had
Yeah.
to start taking aggressive screenshots because the sheer volume of arrests and lawsuits dropping onto the blogs before 8 in the morning is statistically unprecedented.
It is wild. But wait, babes, welcome back. As always, good morning, good evening, good night, good life. We love you, babes.
We truly do. We honestly wouldn't survive the timeline without you.
Never. So, babes, the fruit smoothies are on deck this morning, and honestly, we need to talk for a second.
We really do, because the delusion is thick today.
Because we both went to Booster Juice this morning before recording, and I was feeling so profoundly proud of myself. You know?
Oh, I know the feeling you're talking about.
Like, I was holding my little plastic cup, feeling like my life was completely put together, just radiating absolute wellness.
Radiating sugar, you mean?
No cellular repair. But then you had to ruin it.
Because, babes, smoothies are literally yogurt. It is just yogurt, ice, and a lethal dose of sugar.
Stop. You are actively ruining my emotional healing right now.
I'm just telling the truth. It's a dessert.
Excuse me, but the spinach offsets the sugar. The chia seeds mitigate the glycemic spike.
That is pseudoscience, and you know it.
When I hold a cold blended beverage with a green straw, I am a wellness influencer. I am healing my gut microbiome.
You are drinking melted ice cream with excellent PR. That's it.
I am repairing my aura.
The entire smoothie industry is built on a foundation of lies. I mean, it is the emotional scam of paying $14 for blended fruit.
But the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I need the aesthetic of being someone who consumes green things.
The aesthetic is a track. Like, let's look at the mechanics of it. Why do you think smoothies somehow never actually fill us up?
Okay, wait. Why does that happen, though? Because I am actually starving right now.
Because your body doesn't register liquid calories the same way. You bypass the chewing process so your brain doesn't get the signal that you're full.
Ugh, so I just basically drank a giant cup of lies.
Yes. Your insulin spikes, it crashes, and you're ravenous. So you act healthy for exactly 20 minutes, take your mirror selfie, and then immediately spiral and order a massive bagel.
I feel violently attacked because that is entirely true. I am crashing from the mango puree as we speak.
See? $14 down the drain.
I just wanted the emotional healing of the smoothie. Is that a crime?
It's a financial crime against your own bank account.
You know what else is a crime against humanity? The fact that we have actual jobs and work in a few hours.
Oh, don't even remind me.
And honestly, fuck Wednesdays.
I will sign that petition right now. Wednesdays are the ultimate midweek crisis.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
You are just performatively surviving adulthood at this point in the week.
The fake productivity energy required to just get through a Wednesday without screaming is spiritually draining.
The weekend glow from Monday is dead, but Friday is still miles away.
Yeah, you just have to sit there and pretend you care about corporate emails.
When secretly, your soul just wants to lie face down on the living room floor and scroll TikTok until your retinas burn.
The sheer amount of emotional labor it takes to fake this, like, let's circle back energy just to avoid getting fired is astounding.
Exactly. And honestly, thank God for the mess online today.
Truly a blessing.
Because there was so much tea on the blogs this morning that it literally felt like Christmas.
It really did. It's a chemical addiction at this point.
I read one headline, and the celebrity chaos instantly healed my spirit. It gave me the adrenaline to get out of bed.
We're treating refreshing gossip pages like it's a full-time job. Like, I check the blogs before I even check my own bank balance.
I feel physically overwhelmed by the sheer volume of mess, but in the best way, like trying to process scandals before the coffee even hits.
It is a lot to process. But speaking of faking productivity, I have a dark confession to make to the Snark squad today.
Oh no, I can see the shame in your eyes. What did you do?
Well, I spent the morning reading because I am stubbornly determined to become a book talk girly again.
Wait, you? Reading a physical book in the morning?
Yes, I want the matching pajamas and the little reading light aesthetic. And yes, babes, Atomic Habits by James Clear is currently in progress.
I am screaming. I am actually shrieking right now. You bought Atomic Habits.
I did. I fell for it.
That is the biggest millennial delusion of all time.
Listen, I bought it hoping it would magically seep into my brain through osmosis and fix my life without me having to lift a finger.
We buy these sleek self-help books and feel violently productive just by looking at the cover.
Literally. I'm treating this book like motivational living room decor.
You place it on your nightstand, and suddenly you think you are a disciplined Silicon Valley CEO waking up at 5 a.m. for an ice bath.
Exactly. I read the first 10 pages, completely ignored all the actual advice, and now I am just romanticizing personal growth without actually changing anything.
See, this is exactly why I would rather just heal emotionally through vibes.
I just want the aesthetic of discipline more than the actual discipline itself. The dopamine hit of buying the book was enough for me.
Self-help books are just heavy paperweights that judge you for watching reality TV. I will stick to my yogurt smoothie delusions, thank you.
Fair enough. The delusion is just thick in the air for both of us today.
Okay, babes, enough spiraling about our own lives because the blogs were completely unhinged this morning and we need to get into this gossip recap.
Let's do it. Because you want to know what happens when you completely abandon good habits.
Who do tell?
You end up in a dark Ford Bronco running from the Cherokee County Police.
Oh my God, yes. The mugshots were dropping like autumn leaves this morning.
Let's start with Lindsay Chrisley's absolutely wild ride.
The tea is so dark and the excuses are so messy. She got busted for a DUI, reckless driving, and fleeing the cops.
I brought the literal receipts because reading the actual police report is a masterclass in chaotic excuses.
I read the BELO alert this morning, but I need you to explain the rest of it to me because my brain physically rejected her defense strategy.
Okay, so the authorities get a be on the lookout alert for a dark Ford Bronco that is aggressively speeding and tailgating innocent drivers.
And flashing high beams? Like, who does that?
Right, going northbound in Cherokee County, an officer spots the Bronco and clocks her going 86 miles per hour.
86. In a residential area.
And she isn't just speeding, she is actively passing cars on a double yellow line.
Which means she is crossing into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
That is so dangerous.
Incredibly dangerous. One officer hits his siren to pull her over, and she just floors it, blows right past him.
Just completely ignore the cops. Classic reality TV entitlement.
Another officer finally catches up to her, and she ignores multiple well-lit places to stop before finally pulling into a gas station.
I gasped when I read what she said to the cop.
It's the best part.
When he asked why she is driving like a stunt double, she claims she was brake-checked while dodging a drunken deer.
A drunken deer.
What is the physics of a drunken deer? Like, was she drunk or had the deer been at the local pub?
It is the absolute pinnacle of slurred, nonsensical panic logic. She meant the deer was stumbling, supposedly.
But the officer noted she smelled heavily of alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Her eyes were glassy, and she was slurring her words so badly that her excuses were just bleeding together.
And the chaos doesn't stop there. Because right after the deer excuse, she tells the cop she was rushing her passenger, Travis, to his dying mother's house.
Right, a sudden medical emergency. But here is the fatal flaw in that improvised alibi.
Oh, I know this part.
Moments earlier, the officer asked if they had just visited his mother's house, and she explicitly said no.
Busted. The contradictions are piling up faster than the traffic charges.
And then she refuses the field sobriety test.
Which, okay, some lawyers say you should never do those anyway. But she gets arrested, they put her in handcuffs, and then she asks to do the test.
Yeah, once the cuffs click, the time for balancing on one leg is over, babe.
The ship has sailed. You are in the back of the cruiser.
But the most iconic, utterly shady part of this entire police report is the arresting officer's specific notes on her physical restraint.
Oh my God, yes. Read it.
The officer officially noted he couldn't double lock the handcuffs because of her, quote, small wrists.
I am deceased. Bury me right now.
Honestly, I kind of want that on my permanent record.
It is giving delicate Victorian criminal. It's so camp.
Suspect possessed impossibly dainty wrists.
Seriously, the sheer delusion to drive 86, cross double yellow lines, and act like you are an innocent victim of a drunken deer. She could have killed a family.
It is textbook reckless endangerment. And unfortunately, speaking of reckless endangerment and deeply tragic situations, we have to transition into the teen mom universe.
Babes, we love a messy mugshot when nobody gets hurt, but we need to take a serious breath for a second here.
Yeah, this one is heavy.
The tea coming out of the teen mom world isn't just snarky, it is genuinely terrifying. The Amanda Connor and Ryan Edwards situation is shattering my heart.
If you aren't caught up on the timeline, Amanda was arrested for DUI and child abuse after fleeing in a car with their baby, Presley, at 2 in the morning.
And the twist is, it was Ryan who called the cops on her.
The police dispatch audio is harrowing.
Right.
Ryan called 911 claiming Amanda hadn't slept for 2 days, took off with the newborn, and was high on narcotics.
But then Amanda's defense from her jailhouse phone call was that she was fleeing because Ryan has a history of physically abusing her and she was terrified.
Right, and just when the blogs were trying to figure out who to believe, Amanda's sister, Ashley, took to Facebook.
Dropping absolute bombs. What did she say in the videos?
I analyzed Ashley's videos very closely this morning. She is rightfully furious that the internet is portraying Ryan as some kind of protective hero father.
Because he called the cops.
Exactly. Ashley alleges that Ryan's 911 call was just a calculated power and control move to punish Amanda for leaving.
And then Ashley dropped that terrifying accusation about the strangulation.
Yes. She claims that a couple of months ago, Ryan got into a severe physical altercation with Amanda and strangled her to the point of unconsciousness.
She said Amanda lost consciousness multiple times during the attack. It literally makes my stomach turn into knots.
It is horrific, and we have to look at the larger documented context here. Ryan Edwards has a heavily documented dark history of severe domestic violence.
We don't even have to look far back.
Just last year, in 2024, his ex-wife Mackenzie was granted a protective order after she detailed escalating abuse.
Slamming her against walls, throwing liquid nicotine in her eyes.
And threatening her with weapons, often with the children present in the home.
The track record is chilling. And Ashley basically said on Facebook that there are absolutely no innocent adults in this situation right now.
She heavily implied that neither Amanda nor Ryan are currently sober.
Babes, they met in court-ordered rehab. The foundation of this entire relationship was built on a shared struggle with severe addiction.
Meeting your partner in rehab is like building a house directly on a seismic fault line. You are trauma bonded in an environment where you should be focusing on your own survival.
And Amanda was just fired from her job for refusing a drug test. So if she's using, Ryan is highly likely using too.
Heroin and opiates are historically his drugs of choice, and methamphetamine is allegedly hers. That combination, mixed with a history of domestic violence, is a literal powder keg.
And the only truly innocent victims here are the children. Baby Presley, who was in that car at 2 a.m., and Amanda's older son, Brandon.
It physically drains my soul to read about it because the system seems to be completely failing these kids.
It is an absolute tragedy. And unfortunately, the deeply dark reality TV rap sheets don't end there this morning.
No, they don't. We have a very grim legal update on Eric Rosenbrook from 90 Day Fiancé.
I am purely exhausted at how dark these shows have gotten. When did reality TV stop being about petty drama and start being about felony dockets?
Eric took a plea deal for domestic battery and disorderly conduct against his wife, Leda.
Break down the mechanics of this plea deal for me, because it is so frustrating.
The court documents show the judge dismissed the primary misdemeanor battery charge after Eric agreed to plead guilty to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct.
So he avoids jail time entirely.
Yes. The stipulations of his probation are strict, though. He has to stay completely sober, and he is legally barred from entering a bar or tavern for an entire year.
Unless it's required for employment, right?
Exactly.
But we cannot just gloss over the fact that he has fully admitted on the record to slapping Leda across the face in the past.
During heated, screaming arguments, the violence is a known baseline in their home.
And the most devastating layer of this entire timeline is the history surrounding their children.
In July of 2025, their newborn baby, Elisa, died at just 5 weeks old.
And the official medical autopsy ruled that the infant's death was non-accidental.
A non-accidental death of a newborn, it makes my blood run cold.
There are no words for how dark that is. And we are watching these networks continue to employ people with rap sheets that involve the non-accidental death of an infant.
It really forces us to ask massive questions about the ethical responsibility of these production companies.
I need a palate cleanser. I need to pivot away from the criminal justice system because my anxiety is spiking.
Let's move to the Bravo universe.
Yes, please. Where the legal battles are slightly less grim and the messes are heavily monetized.
A perfect pivot. Let's talk about the Rachel Leviss versus Ariana Madix legal war.
The revenge porn lawsuit regarding the Amandavol FaceTime video.
Yeah.
What is the update?
So Ariana had filed an anti-SLAPP motion to get Rachel's lawsuit thrown out, and it was initially denied. Ariana appealed, and now the appellate court is weighing in.
Okay, wait. I need you to translate the legal jargon for the Snark squad. Because when I hear anti-SLAPP, I just imagine Ariana physically slapping Rachel across the face at a reunion.
It is a phenomenal acronym, honestly. It stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation.
Okay, so what does that actually mean in this case?
In California, an anti-SLAPP law is designed to quickly dismiss frivolous lawsuits that are filed purely to intimidate critics speaking on matters of public interest.
Right. So Ariana's team argued that Rachel is only suing her to shut her up and punish her for exposing the affair.
Exactly. And since the affair is a matter of public interest, the court should throw the suit out.
Because Ariana claims she only found the video on Tom's phone, sent it to herself to confirm she wasn't crazy, and then deleted it. She denies ever distributing it.
Right. But the court's tentative opinion that dropped this morning suggests they're going to uphold the initial denial.
Meaning Ariana's attempt to quickly kill the lawsuit failed.
Yes. The judges essentially said that whether or not Ariana distributed the video is a factual dispute that needs to be settled in a full trial.
Oh my God, so it goes to discovery.
Rachel's case proceeds to the discovery phase, yes.
I am spiraling. It is 2026. We are 3 years removed from Amandavol breaking, and we are still dealing with the legal fallout.
Amandavol is the radioactive half-life of reality television. It will never truly decay.
Are we going to be in nursing homes still analyzing Tom Sandoval's white nail polish and Rachel's galaxy lights?
We absolutely are. And
Right.
Speaking of Vanderpump Rules cast members moving at light speed, let's talk about James Kennedy.
Because the timeline completely broke when the news dropped that James is expecting a baby.
A whole human child. James Kennedy is going to be responsible for shaping the mind of a youth.
And the wildest part is that he is having this baby with a mystery girlfriend that he has only been dating for 7 months.
The timeline of James Kennedy's reproductive journey is a study in whiplash. Let's map this out.
Please do.
He is engaged to Rachel. That blows up at the reunion. He immediately pivots to Allie Luber, buys a house with her, gets pets, and then that fizzes out.
And now he has bypassed all the Bravo milestones and going straight to procreation with a woman whose name we barely know.
I saw Allie Luber's reaction to the news, and she was trying so hard to play it cool.
She said she was totally shocked by the timeline, but claimed she doesn't care because she is focused on her astrology readings.
Babes, you care.
If my ex got a random girl pregnant 7 months after we broke up, I would be burning sage and throwing hexes.
It is the ultimate ego bruise. You spend years trying to fix a broken man, and he immediately gives someone else the family you were terrified to start with him.
But honestly, given his explosive history, I think Allie dodging that permanent biological tie is a blessing.
Oh, the biggest blessing the universe could have given her.
Speaking of confusing alliances in the Bravo universe,
Sure.
we have to talk about Lala Kent's deeply chaotic confessions this morning.
Lala is on a relentless press tour of her own making. What did she admit to now?
She fully admitted on her podcast that she kissed Randall Emmett's ex-wife, Amber Childers, on the lips recently.
A full intentional kiss.
Yes. The psychology of this alliance is fascinating and deeply twisted.
Let's remember the origin story here. Lala was the mistress. She actively taunted Amber online and bragged about Randall buying her a Range Rover.
Mocked Amber's inability to keep her husband, and now they are podcasting together and kissing on the lips.
It is trauma bonding at its most bizarre. They share a mutual, searing hatred for Randall after he financially and emotionally ruined both of them.
Lala was even bragging that Amber's teenage daughters think Lala's cool. Babes, you blew up their parents' marriage. How are you the cool aunt?
It requires a level of compartmentalization that borders on clinical detachment. Amber is likely keeping Lala close because Lala has a massive platform to drag Randall.
Which helps Amber's ongoing custody and financial battles. An alliance of pure convenience.
And it perfectly aligns with Tom Schwartz predicting that Lala and Shiana's friendship is destined to become an icy tundra.
Lala burns bridges and builds new ones out of pure spite.
Speaking of burning bridges, Lala is also doing the Lord's work by dragging Danny Bucco from the Valley.
She went on Teddy and Tamara's podcast and absolutely shredded Danny's apology statement.
Good, because his PR scrubbed apology tour was infuriating.
I have to ask you, is Danny the classic Jekyll and Hyde Bravo husband? Because on paper, he looks like a golden retriever.
He is the textbook definition of it. Let's unpack Lala's receipts because she hit the nail on the head.
What does she say?
When Danny is sober, he is the doting, sweet husband who cries about how much he loves his wife, Nia. But the second he starts drinking, the mask slips entirely.
He becomes verbally aggressive and minimizes her postpartum depression.
And throws tantrums when he isn't the center of attention. Plus, Lala explicitly called out the glaring red flags of Danny forcing Naya to move to Santa Clarita.
Yes, which is a massive psychological red flag. It isn't just about a bigger backyard. It is an isolation tactic.
Exactly. You take a woman with 4 children under 4, actively struggling with severe postpartum mental health issues, and move her an hour away from her support system.
Purely because he wants to live further out. Lala accurately pointed out that Naya doesn't seem to have a say in her own marriage.
Danny bulldozes her with toxic positivity and then plays the victim when she crumbles.
He uses that aw shucks aesthetic to hide his deeply controlling behavior. It is so insidious.
And speaking of aesthetics dying a slow death, we have to hold a brief moment of silence.
Oh no, what happened?
Tom Schwartz revealed on Carl Ratty's podcast that TomTom is officially up for sale and closing its doors in a few months.
The fall of Rome. I am actually mourning the loss of the aesthetic.
Really? The steampunk vibe.
Yes. Where else am I going to go to drink an overpriced cocktail out of a glass shaped like a clock while surrounded by velvet couches and gear cogs?
It was a visual representation of Tom Sandoval's chaotic brain. Too many moving parts, and fundamentally unsound.
Lisa Vanderpump is finally cutting her losses. The Scandavol boycott deeply hurt their margins.
The lease is likely up, and she doesn't want to carry the dead weight of the Tom's tarnished brand anymore.
But I did laugh out loud at Carl Racky, joking that he should buy the space and rename it Kyle Carl.
Kyle Carl. A bar fully themed around Loverboy and aggressive late-night screaming matches.
Honestly, I would go. I would be there on opening night.
Moving from California to the Hamptons, we need to talk about the Summer House reunion.
Because West Wilson got absolutely shredded into confetti.
It was a cinematic masterpiece. Ciara Miller delivered a masterclass in stoicism and accountability.
She sat on those reunion couches with absolute dignity, holding a metaphorical folder of receipts, and completely destroyed Amanda Batula and West.
Even Andy Cohen paused and said she left absolutely nothing on the table.
I stand Ciara's fierce, budding energy so much right now.
Yeah.
For years, she played the background, but this season, she realized her own worth.
She methodically dismantled West's goofy, commitment-phobic, nice guy facade.
And there is a rumor that Ciara is coming back for season 11 with the sole purpose of proving a point. She's going to dominate the house.
I'm here for the Ciara Miller domination era. And the validation came from an unlikely source, because Carl Ratke officially called West's behavior diabolical.
And Carl is entirely correct. Let's break down why it crosses the line from typical F-boy behavior into something truly diabolical.
It requires a specific type of compartmentalization. West brought Ciara and Kyle home to Missouri to meet his parents.
He sat at his family's dinner table, introduced Ciara to his mother, all while secretly hooking up with Amanda behind everyone's back.
It makes my skin crawl. To look your mother in the eye and introduce a woman you are actively betraying, that is pathological deception.
It weaponizes family intimacy to create a false sense of security. Ciara thought he was serious.
Meanwhile, he was using the trip as a smokescreen, and the aftermath has been beautifully messy.
West and Kyle reportedly had an excruciating 3-hour on-camera sit-down chat to try and salvage their business ties.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that.
And the guilt is clearly eating them alive because Amanda and Wes literally fled the country. They flew to Rome just to physically hide from the internet.
Escaping to Europe is the universal reality TV white flag.
You know it's bad when you have to seek asylum in Italy to avoid your Instagram comments.
But West wasn't the only man getting dragged. We have to discuss the Ben Waddell sexism call-out.
Yes. Bailey Taylor was screaming at Ben, bringing up how he treats his girlfriend Sabrina, and she hit him with the most lethal observation.
She pointed out that Ben only pops off on women.
It is localized misogyny. He is calm with the men, but the second a woman challenges his authority, he escalates his tone and yells.
It is a very specific type of toxic masculinity. Bailey clocking that pattern on national television was phenomenal.
She gathered him with surgical precision. But babes, amidst all the screaming, we do need to drop the snark for one brief second and commend some real bravery.
Absolutely. We have to give massive credit to KJ Dillard.
He opened up on his platform about his 2025 hospitalization for severe self-harm and publicly revealed his BPD diagnosis.
The vulnerability it takes to share that with a notoriously cruel reality TV audience is staggering.
BPD is deeply stigmatized. For a man on a Bravo show to say he sought psychiatric help is genuinely life-saving representation.
It forces the audience to remember these are actual human beings beneath the editing. We also have to commend Carl Ratke for using his platform for addiction awareness.
He recently threw the first pitch at a White Sox game to honor his late brother Curtis and raise money for recovery programs.
A beautiful way to honor his brother's memory.
Okay, my heart is getting too heavy. We need to bring the shade back. Because the origin story of Paige DeSorbo just got completely rewritten by a ghost of Bravo past.
You are talking about Stephen McGee crawling out of the woodwork to claim credit for Paige's entire career.
Yes. Stephen McGee from the ancient seasons of Summer House went on a podcast and claimed that he is the sole reason Paige is famous today.
The mechanics of his claim are fascinatingly petty. He alleges that back in Season 3, he deliberately leaked pro-Trump info about the original twin cast members.
He leaked it to Claudia Oshry, Girl with No Job. Knowing she would amplify it, the network would panic and the twins would get fired.
And according to Stephen, creating that casting vacuum is exactly what opened the door for Bravo to cast Paige.
Therefore, he's the architect of Paige DeSorbo's empire. The delusion required to think you deserve a percentage of Paige's checks because you sent a shady screenshot 5 years ago.
Top-tier reality TV narcissism. It is the butterfly effect of Bravo toxicity.
Stephen flaps his wings in 2018, and Paige gets a clothing line at Zara in 2026.
Okay, babes, let's pack our bags and leave the Hamptons. We need to check in on the veteran housewives.
Pivoting to the women who are fighting nasty rumors, fighting the scale, and fighting their absolutely useless husbands.
Let's start with Beverly Hills. The details of Dorit and PK's separation just dropped, and it is a study in marital cowardice.
The tea is so bizarre. Dorit revealed that PK didn't even have the spine to dump her himself.
He orchestrated the breakup in their backyard cabana, but he had his sober coach do the actual talking while PK just sat there and looked away.
I am horrified. He uses his sobriety journey as a shield to avoid taking accountability for the emotional devastation he is causing his wife.
He outsourced his divorce to a mental health professional so he wouldn't have to look Dorit in the eye.
Imagine putting on a full face of glam, walking out to your luxury cabana, and having a stranger tell you your husband is leaving you while PK stares at a palm tree.
Cowardice disguised as a therapeutic boundary. But the silver lining is that the trauma secured her bag.
Executive producer Alex Baskin confirmed Dorit is not on pause. She is holding her diamond for season 16.
The cabana breakup secured her storyline.
Also, quick fashion sidebar. Did you see Lisa Rinna at the AMAs?
I saw it. I'm still trying to unsee it.
She wore literally just a vintage JFK necktie as a top. Just a strip of silk across her chest, held together by double-sided tape in sheer audacity.
Desperate attention-seeking behavior, but it undeniably works because we are talking about her.
Now let's fly to the East Coast. The Real Housewives of Rhode Island rumor mill is churning at max capacity.
Rosie DeMar is going to absolute war with Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy.
Portnoy amplified a massive local rumor that Rosie had an affair with Georgetown basketball coach Ed Cooley, and that the affair paid for her luxury home.
Rosie is threatening to sue him into oblivion, screaming defamation.
And while Rosie is fighting Barstool, her castmate, Rula Pontarelli, is reportedly losing her grip on reality.
Rula is spiraling because the audience is judging her life. She's in the DMs of Bravo fan accounts at 3 a.m., fighting with teenagers who criticize her husband Brian for cheating.
Claiming Brian has repented his sins and demanding privacy.
You cannot willingly sign a contract with NBC Universal, invite camera crews to film the fallout of your husband's infidelity, and then demand privacy.
Exactly. You monetize the affair. You cannot be furious when the consumers review the product you sold them.
If you want privacy, go work at a bank.
Let's move to Atlanta, because Cynthia Bailey just dropped a massive update that has the timeline divided.
Cynthia revealed a 40-pound weight loss, and the discourse is fascinating.
She was incredibly honest about how the weight crept up due to menopausal metabolism shifts. She peaked at 206 pounds.
And the cruel internet comments completely shattered her confidence. But she was transparent about exactly how she lost the weight.
She didn't just claim it was water and Pilates. She admitted to using Weight Watchers and GLP-1 medications to get down to 165 pounds.
And people are still mad at her. If a celebrity lies, they get dragged. If Cynthia honestly says she used a medical tool for a metabolic shift, she gets called a cheater.
The stigma is deeply misogynistic. Society thinks women must physically suffer to earn their bodies.
Her transparency should be applauded. It is healthcare.
Period. Let Cynthia live her confident life. Okay, babes, final segment to wrap up this circus. Let's look at the influencers and TikTok cults.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives drama is heavy today.
Taylor Frankie Paul posted a highly disturbing photo of her bruised arm to her millions of followers, addressing her ex, Dakota.
She stated the psychological torture damaged her far more deeply than the physical abuse.
But the way this is playing out is so toxic. While Taylor exposes her abuse, her co-star Maishi Neely is fighting for her life in the comment sections.
Taylor's massive fan base is flooding Macy's pages, accusing her of being a terrible friend. Maishi is calling the fans cult followers and psychotic.
And the fans are calling Maishi a baby daddy killer because she questioned Taylor's narrative on the show.
And Taylor isn't calling off her attack dogs. She publicly told Maishi to go get some cream for her hoop feelings.
It is the weaponization of a parasocial army, turning serious abuse allegations into cheap TikTok fodder.
Very problematic. But speaking of things that are physically hard to swallow, we have to talk about Farrah Abraham's $1,000,000 mouth.
The tea is that Farrah revealed she has been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, localized entirely in her jaw.
Her jaw has effectively locked up, and she physically cannot open her mouth. The profound irony of a woman whose career is built on yelling at producers, losing her ability to open her mouth.
She is sitting on a podcast, laughing through the pain of a locked jaw, joking about not being able to eat a hot dog or perform oral sex.
And this isn't a genetic curse. She previously admitted to spending over $50,000 on cosmetic procedures purely for her jawline and mouth.
She surgically altered her jaw until it gave up and went on strike.
Yeah.
Her bones literally said, "We are closing for business."
A cautionary tale about extreme facial modification. Okay, let's do a reality TV lightning round to cleanse the palate.
Hit me with the quick hits.
Love is Blind updates. Kyle Abrams from season 2 married Ashley, and she is pregnant.
A pod baby. Love that.
Marissa George officially married Dee Johnson.
Blessings to the pod squad. What about singing competitions?
The Voice season 30. Riley Green complained that Kelly Clarkson is viciously trash-talking him via text to intimidate him before filming.
I am obsessed with Kelly Clarkson operating like a mob boss via iMessage. Riley doesn't stand a chance.
And fashion tea. Project Runway season 22 is crossing over with Drag Race. Plain Jane and Q are officially cast as designers.
Plain Jane, in the workroom with Nina Garcia. The shade will eclipse the sun. I will be seated for every episode.
The reality TV machine keeps churning.
Yes, it does.
Babes, thank you so much to the Snark Squad for hanging out with us today and surviving this midweek chaos.
We literally could not process this timeline without you.
So before you go, get in the comments and tell us, what gossip story shocked you the most this morning? Are smoothies secretly just frozen yogurt? What self-help book are you pretending to follow? And what celebrity chaos is currently consuming your timeline?
We want essays in the comments. Bring your receipts.
Remind yourself to like, comment, subscribe, and share the podcast with your messiest besties so they can spiral with us. And send in your shady, snarky, or stupid submissions.
Keep the tea flowing.
Stay messy, stay delusional, and we will see you on the Snark side.